Good morning, everyone. It's December the 5th, 2023. As you can hear, my voice has not cleared up yet, and I've been fighting this cold for the last several days since I last put up my last video. And Julie's also fighting a cold too, so it's definitely the season for colds. But today I wanted to come on and talk about, again, the different effects of the opioid addiction and just how far things will go. We've often mentioned just how far the addicts will go to get their drugs. Well, last night, CTV News had an interesting report come on, and it was after a trial. And this man was charged 10 to 12 years in prison, and it was due to the opioid addictions that he used as an excuse. And in this particular case, it was about a lawyer. And this lawyer was, she was hit several times. Didn't know at first. First, I believe her van had been vandalized in the parking lot. She thought it was over something that she'd been fighting as a lawyer. So the van was first vandalized. And then the next thing she knew, her office was actually torched and set on fire. And that was just the start of it. And then one day she was just driving down the road, and she was being followed, and she looked over to see this guy in this van pointing a gun at her and trying to get the gun to go off. And what finally convicted him was, luckily the gun didn't go off, it jammed. But the video that the court got and was showing on CTV News was that the actual shooter was wanted to show his dealer that he had tried to kill this lawyer, like he basically asked for him to do. And the gun jammed. But he felt that, well, if he looked like he tried to hit her, that everything would be okay, it's just that he missed. That's what his excuse was. And then his big excuse was, sorry, but I was on drugs at the time. But the thing about all this is that this is the excuse everybody is making right now. Oh, I'm on drugs. I don't know what I'm doing. Well, we had that as an excuse for being drunk for so long. Now look what happens when you get caught for drunk driving. And even at least they're stepping up on the drugs now in driving. But it seems like we have to do a lot more to crack down on having the drugs. And I just want to also tell you a little story as well about, we all have different addictions. I know. I love my chocolate bars and my Diet Pepsi. But that's not too bad. Well, I'm going to tell you a story about my second husband. It was a snow day. Our teenage daughter was, the buses had, of course, been canceled for that day. There was so much snow and sleet and everything on the road. So school was open, so my husband decided to take our daughter to school that day. So we have a pickup truck, which usually went through everything. Okay, so he dropped her off to school safely. And on his way back, he suddenly had this car that just jumped the median and just went right by him, and he had to swerve to avoid this car. So he avoided the accident. And the next thing you know, a couple of minutes later, a few minutes later anyhow, a police officer stopped him. And he's thinking, well, I don't think I did anything wrong. And the officer said, no, but did you see the accident behind you? And he looked at the officer and said, well, what accident? And after the officer described the car, it was very simple, that it was the description of the car that had just cut my husband off, but he hadn't seen anything. And apparently, this woman had got into an accident behind him. Some other person hit him. She was thrown back up in the median and took out a lamp stand. And according to the officer, her excuse was, well, I was late for work, and I had to go and get my Tim Hortons coffee so I could wake up this morning so I could do my work. Well, that's another interesting one for an excuse of being addicted to coffee, for goodness sakes. So we've got to stop making excuses for some of our addictions. Are getting really out of hand. And that's what's happening right now. Everything's getting out of hand. So like I said, we were lucky. My husband was lucky. He didn't get into an accident with this crazy woman who wanted her coffee. But you see this constantly. I mean, we all have addictions. Some of them are harmless, and some of them that seem harmless can get a little more dangerous than you thought, as in the coffee, for example. I don't know what they put in that Tim Hortons coffee, but everybody tells me how great it is, but I'm not a coffee drinker, so I don't have that problem. But I just wanted to update you a little bit on what I heard last night on the news. Like I said, my voice is still a little bit rough, but I just wanted to come on and say, hello, I'm here. I haven't dropped dead yet. I'm surviving this cold, and so is Julie, so we'll be back up and running again, and hopefully I'll be over this completely very shortly. It seems like I am getting over it now, but I just wanted to tell everyone again, it's winter. Slow down on the roads and be safe for sure. And be aware of your surroundings, and even more so, as my husband had to be aware of winter driving and getting into an accident, or nearly getting into an accident. So be safe, be aware of your surroundings, take care, and everyone have a great day, and bye-bye.